Oh, somebody's turning. Please don't get T-boned. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Standing up, good. Oh. Right leg's not working. It's not working. Let's take a look. Full speed. Mechanism injury. Right side impact. Right side impact. Lower leg, lower extremity injury. Could be bleeding out. This is where a tourniquet, high and tight, do a hasty tourniquet. Hasty tourniquet right here. Because the whole leg is pretty much, yeah. Hasty tourniquet, high and tight. Tighten that thing down. All right, here we go.
Scorching heat before another heat wave arrives by the weekend.
So stands up. Okay, cool. Oh, leg doesn't work. Leg doesn't work. Leg doesn't work. Either too much pain or the your bones are like the scaffolding. Your muscles move the bones, but the bones keep. I mean, you guys had a steak without a bone in it. It's just kind of floppy. Or like a chicken thigh without a bone, it's just floppy. When you have the bone in there, it provides structure. So in a situation like this, when they're standing up and there's no structure, instability and whatnot, it means the bone is not doing its thing. The muscles are, but the bone's not. So, or it's just a massive amount of pain immediately. I've seen this so many times.
Okay, Google, call 911.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, femur bones breaking, very dangerous because your femoral artery runs, all your arteries, guys, run along your bones. That's why tourniquets work, because when the tourniquet compresses, it's actually compressing the artery against the bone. That's what's really happening. And so if you have a break in your femur at the wrong spot and the shard kind of pops out a little bit, and it's gonna lacerate that artery. Bones are like, guys, that's what they used to make knives out of. Like bones, animal bones. They would use knives. They make knives out of them. They're sharp. You guys remember like when you're losing your baby teeth and you're like tonguing the crap out of it because you think it's fun, and then you like slice your tongue on the little sharp parts of the bone? I mean, that's just the tooth. All right, here we go.
Like this,
A little washed out.
and help you stay a bit
Beautiful
more
view.
cautious on the road. It is beautiful, man.
Are we in Arizona? Because this looks. The four of us were chilling at the lake when the two lead riders wondered where the rest of the group are. We gave it 5 more minutes, then geared up and went back. Here's what we found. Oh, terrible feeling. Here we go. Let's see what happens, everybody. Okay, come on.
Well, this is the first.
Okay. EMS is on scene. Looks like one of them's holding C-spine. Looks like ambulance only because there's 2. Usually a truck has more. So they're going to take the helmet off. Let them take it off.
Side of that helmet. Yeah, pull a liner out first.
This looks like Arizona.
Nah, it's good.
I'm concerned about everyone standing in the road. You see what I mean? Guys, don't stand in the road.
Get up. Like, okay, let me make sure everything's good, and then you can get up.
So he's doing blood pressure right here. Okay, so he's got the monitor out. He's doing blood pressure. So he's going to do blood pressure. He's going to do pulse oximetry, which is going to give you the pulse rate. It's going to give you the oxygen saturation. He seems to be talking. Everyone seems to be doing fine. It's a trauma incident for the most part. So what they're really looking for, and they're doing a rapid trauma assessment, what they're really looking for is going to be any broken bones, any lacerations, any bleeding, anything like that. But who knows? Like part of EMS is like what caused the accident, right? Was it a loss of control? Was it this is why I go into that stuff, like loss of control, road surface hazard, all these things. Was it just a failure on the rider's part, or and this is what typically sometimes it happens with car accidents specifically. Did they have a diabetic emergency or a heart attack or some kind of like a syncopal episode where they fainted and then they crashed? And so then like you could be dealing with a crash and you deal with the trauma part and you're taking care of like lacerations, but if you don't do a medical assessment with it, you might not find out that, yeah, their blood glucose is 20. And so the problem isn't just taking care of lacerations and taking care of like, broken stuff or trying to like talk to him. It's like, maybe he has a TBI, he's not answering questions right. This is why they also get a blood glucose reading, because it's like, oh, okay. So let's give him some glucose and now they come out of it. And then long, hot riding can lead to dehydration. Exactly, Ramsey. And this looks like it's Arizona. It might be in the summertime. Who knows? And it could be dehydrated too. So they might have to give IV fluids because then they're going to check with the blood pressure and a few other things. It's like, oh, his blood pressure is really low. His blood pressure should be stabilized. He's laying on the ground. His blood pressure is like really low. Or his blood pressure is like extremely high. Like then they start doing interventions on that stuff. So this is why it's so important to get EMS on scene. So that's why it's call 911 or tell someone to call 911, because you don't know the full situation. These guys have the tools. You don't keep a $20,000 heart rate monitor on your motorcycle, and you don't have the knowledge that some of these guys have.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah, a little crazy, but I love seeing it. I used to do that. I used to do this all the time, guys. This was my job for 11 years before I started doing this motorcycle stuff. I absolutely love it. I kind of miss it. Actually, I kind of really do miss it. So they're trying to block the sun. Inside the rescue packs, we have Mylar blankets. You can just have a couple people just holding this above, because it does make a difference. You're just providing comfort, which will help out the vital signs.
This is crazy, man.
Did she try to kill me or did I overreact? Let's find out. Open lane pattern. Open lane pattern. You overreacted a little bit. See, that's what I'm talking about. When you start to recognize these patterns, your riding becomes a lot simpler. Your riding becomes a lot calmer because you start to recognize why people do what they do. And so when you're riding right here, perfectly staggered, great space cushion, good line of sight, good everything, right? We have our lane. It's an open lane, not a big deal, right? Not right now. But we come up to here and we see this big vehicle in front of that vehicle that's going to come out, right? So that big vehicle. So once you see that, you're like, I think they might want to come into my lane, because if I were them, I wouldn't want to be behind that big vehicle. And guess what? And we're kind of jumping into this. This is about 26 minutes into this video on the live stream. That's called perspective shifting. If you're able to understand why somebody else does something else because you kind of project your own things into it, and you start to pay attention, you start to listen, you start to really recognize a lot of these things, you're perspective shifting. So it's not maliciousness, right? It's a mistake. And so once you start recognizing people are making these mistakes of not looking into the mirrors and not doing the whole inattentional blindness aspect of everything, when you start to recognize that, you start to calm down. You start to be like, oh, they're human. Oh, they're human. Now, if they're going to do this, what do? I'm just going to go ahead and let them in. It's not a big deal. So when you do that, not just in road situations, so you don't have road rage, the escalation of your emotions into anger, apply the same logic to your friendships, to your family, to your partner. Perspective shift. Sit back, acknowledge what they're saying and doing. It's probably a mistake. They didn't mean to hurt you, especially if they love you. Didn't mean to. You don't have to overreact with anger and frustration. You can just sit back and be like, okay. So that's why learning your partner, learning about your friends, learning about your family will help you out. Learning about driver behavior, right? Friend behavior, partner behavior, family behavior, driver behavior. It allows you to understand so that you don't overreact and you can stay calm and you don't do this stuff right here. Motorcycling will teach you how to interact with others in your life in a better way. And usually when people do wrong things, they're going to do what this lady does and is just not going to pay attention to you. So it doesn't matter what, you could be frustrated with a family member, a partner, or a friend, and you can try to control the situation by telling them what they did wrong and kind of criticize and do all that stuff. They're just not going to, you can't teach people that way. You can't teach people that way. Yeah, just do the thumbs down and move on and be like, hey, you kind of screwed up. Not a big deal. Moving on. That's how I want to be when it comes to family and friends and my partner. It's like, hey, you kind of screwed up, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I accidentally hit mute. Did I hit mute again? Is it just not? There we go. I guess there's no sound on this one. Okay, so somebody's just kind of pulling out. Not a big deal. Yeah, assume the best from others, not the worst. One of the things that I've learned, it's like it's not maliciousness. It's usually kind of like an incompetence. And that sounds bad and good, right? If it's not maliciousness, it's incompetence. Like, oh, don't call me incompetent. It's like, hey, guys, everybody, when you were little, you were pretty incompetent when it came to tying your shoes. Just saying. Until what? You learned? Until you practiced? So incompetence is just a skill issue. Get better. Which is great because then everyone can get better. Not a big deal. At least you're not being a D-bag. I was about to say dick, but oh, I just said it. Dog. Lots of dogs. Uh-oh, we got to turn. Oh, we're just going to go ahead and do this. Juke them out. Go, buddy. Go. Yeah. These dogs are just... I mean, they're probably working... Oh, my gosh. Now we're, like, getting stuck. Go for it. Get out of there. Cop trying to not be suspicious. Okay. Oh, it's pretty suspicious. Yeah, nice helmet though, AGVs. Yeah, that's what I do is I just sit on cruise control. I'm like, you ain't gonna get me for speeding. I'm on cruise control. Unless your sprocket's a little different, it's gonna mess up your speedometer.
Turn the keys out.
It's kind of a...
Rider with the transport. Bicep to your right.
Whoa. Gotta be wanted. Got it. Because like I heard that these police cars now, I always thought they had to like type it into their MDC, the mobile data computer, like license plate. But I guess they do have technology that just constantly scans people's license plate and runs checks while they're driving. They don't have to do anything. So I have a feeling maybe he saw that this person maybe has a warrant and pulled him over.
Look up to your rod. What if I can see your waistband? Turn in a circle towards me.
They stopped the freeway for no reason. Everyone saw my six-pack for free. So, like, here's the thing, guys. I'm not assuming. I'm not saying this is the case. Don't get me for this. I'm not saying this. You're probably innocent of everything. I don't freaking know, right? This is one side of the story. But this right here, this mentality, sounds a lot like Max Wrist, and we all know what he does, and he blames the cops. He blames everyone else, right? Usually when you have a lack of accountability and you kind of play off the video or you play off the situation like, they did me wrong. Typically, you're the one that probably did some stuff. And this is a natural response and natural consequence. They don't just do this. These guys in this department do not want a lawsuit and have to settle out of court. You know what I mean? They don't just do this.
30, 30, 30. All right, stop me. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
And that's the,
Keep to your left.
yeah, that's typical. And this is another reason, if you have like a friend that is not a good person, don't ride his bike or borrow his vehicle just in case.
Keep going, keep going. That's good. Walk back towards me. Our hands on your back.
Okay.
So right now you're being pain, okay?
Okay.
You were just riding with that right there.
Okay.
But who knows? Maybe he's innocent. I don't know. I think my brain is dying. Guys, thank you for joining this live stream and this live class. This cop is, we don't have donuts today. We don't have donuts today. It's pizza. We don't have those. Hope you guys had a great time. Hopefully you guys learned some things. But with that said, check out the links in the description for Ricardo, Pack Talk, Edge, the Smart Rider games, everything on the store. And I'll be seeing you guys on the next video.